You know, my mother had a great time with everybody, except for him. Except for him. She really is.
I know. I tried to
You
show
left
her.
an lasting impression.
I tried to show her.
And for my sister.
Come on, I'm saying, come on. Authentication.
Sign in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had already had signed in. I'm hoping that this.
So not.
Let it go, Joe.
So not.
But I might have the one in the middle.
I have to go to Pittsburgh next month for my mother, as a matter of fact.
The little ball.
My dad would have been 90.
Oh, the ordination went real well.
April, so she decided while she was here that you need to come up and we need to go to Father's
Yeah, because she told me they was having
That's it
something
right
at
there?
2. So she couldn't make our appointment at 3.
That's what I was thinking, that it was already.
I was going to try.
It don't.
Yeah, I had really contemplated. You know what?
The middle ball.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I thought about it, but then once my mother
Hey,
said,
bro, secretary. How you doing, sir? All right.
and turn around and turn to Pittsburgh.
Oh, no, that's
So
right.
I'll just drive to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Yeah.
How you doing, sir?
Because it's in here.
Hey.
Your wife's new car.
How many y'all leaving?
My wife is coming, so she's gonna work a half day. And then I can't check in before 4 o'clock anyway.
Yeah, man, it's Harris supposed, she's supposed to be one of the main drivers.
Registration, but a reception.
I don't know, I haven't seen a program. I mean,
Somebody sent me something about a reception. They'll have, I was giving me
Alex.
all kinds of stuff. Oh.
You need Alex.
Yeah, I think he's probably.
Is this in your bag?
yeah, this is in my bag.
I thought so. Yeah, it looks like something I haven't had from when I was a mighty. Yeah, a mighty. Yeah. No, she didn't. No, she didn't say that either, though. She didn't say that either. She just made the announcement that I could.
Yeah, we're gonna be running, what you call them, had a family emergency. She'll be here in about 10 minutes.
And he said we were okay getting started. He said we were okay getting started because it's recorded. Anything that's not taken in minutes, they could go back and watch.
I mean, he was just sitting there, I'm being messy.
Oh.
Actually, he told me that
Is the food back there? Have you looked?
if we had somebody to record it, I know it's being recorded, but we have somebody to record it.
Somebody else just brought it in. That's why I was wondering if she was coming or not.
My meeting, come back early so you can get to us.
I don't know, I was thinking about going to the House of Prayer in Atlanta. Yeah, up there on Cleveland Avenue.
It's cold. I got no place.
Who is that?
No.
I got career center.
Well,
Who's that?
stop, Joe.
Oh, okay.
Stop. No.
What you did.
Is this somebody who pilot iron?
No, it's been a while since I visited them, so I'm just thinking about that.
And her last name is Cole.
Yeah, and
From downtown, about a 10, 12-minute drive right off the interstate.
be one. She left, but y'all them let her come back here, man.
Well,
I hate
I
the
say on
traffic.
the, well, yeah, because the interstate could be,
Depends on the time of day.
it'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, I was down there this summer for our reunion. And it was-
Hold on from that.
Hold on, they started recording at 5:55. They was recording at 5:55.
How long ago? Was it this year?
No, 2 years ago. I guess whatever. Until we hit that door.
401, 404?
And took us forever.
Yeah, and then it was stop, go, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. I hate it.
Miss
I
Green.
hate it.
Miss Green.
No. No. I'm driving up next week. Okay. I will so leave you up there and let you find your way back. We wouldn't have to worry about it for a minute. Not for a minute.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
They say, where's Chuck?
If you don't-
He's in Pittsburgh. He might be in West Virginia if he walks. If he walks, it's gonna take him a real long time.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Hey, it's definitely gonna be. Even if he make it that far, because I'm pretty sure you're gonna put him out before you get there.
That's one of the reasons why I get in the car. So I can't think. You'll go out. Let's take off. I'll just go on and drive. Yeah. And get my own car.
It's a big
No.
I'm writing pink today.
so sick. On Facebook,
Oh Lord, and the man and the preacher. Yeah, I seen that.
you ain't doing it in here.
He's supposed to be waiting for
I
something.
saw that.
I was gonna say, please turn your phone off. It's after 6. Oh, he's still.
Yeah, it's 2 after.
I should trust him. Yeah, it's after.
Somebody else asked. It's on mute now.
They say when you, ooh, when you can't say nothing, you just wave your hand.
Said we can get started.
Yeah, let me like
She thought you were so funny. He just cracked me up.
That's what she said. Let it go.
Let that one straight go.
I'm looking for. Yeah, well, I know I'm not. The host hotel is the Hilton.
Yeah, I know y'all mics on.
Let them
And y'all
know
live.
that those microphones are on and it's streaming.
Now we in good shape. Okay. What day is March or what? 17th? Day March 17th? 18th. Are we ready to record? We live? It is now 6 o'clock. Matter of fact, it's 6:05. Chair will act. It is now 6 o'clock. The chair will call this March the 18th meeting, regular call meeting to order. And I don't have a Madam Clerk at this time. She has some family matters. She's on the way though, okay? But I do know that Dr. Hemingway, has the public been duly notified?
Yes, sir.
And I do confirm a quorum. Chair will ask for a motion going to executive section for personnel matters.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
make a motion, we enter executive session for personnel matters.
Second it.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison Williams, second by Mr. Davis to go into executive session for personnel matters. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. That would be 7-0. We will come out of executive session shortly. Thank you. I see somebody sweating over there. Two heads can't make up for one.
How many does it take to put in a light bulb, right? We had to figure out your little streamer box. Do you stop the live manually? Or do you, or you just pause it? So do you want me to do something else just in case, or just stick around here?
Yeah,
Okay.
so. So we're not live streaming?
We are. Yeah, it's just this was messed up. You know that makes sense now that I look at this little pad, because your mouse is in the top left. Look at this button. See, that's got that little square in the top left? So if you want the square up there, there, there.
So all the TVs not on?
Do you want it?
They don't know.
Gotcha. All right. Do you use something else with the computer?
So,
You want this on there?
yeah, that normally, it gives a split, allows me to split between live audience and. There used to be a sheet up here. Hey, Bernie, I'm sorry, I was trying to. Yep,
Is that what you want?
that's,
Okay.
Chair will
Like to have seen it.
ask for a motion to exit executive session. No action were taken.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we exit executive sessions, no action taken.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison Williams, second by Mr. Davis, executive session, no action taken. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. Thank you. At this time, I just wanted to welcome everyone to this, I think today is the 18th.
Yes, sir.
March the 18th, regular call board meeting. We thank you for your support. We thank you for supporting our children. That's the most important thing. You know. We love our children, you know. We thank you for supporting our teachers, our administrators, you know, our cafeteria workers. You know, we thank all of, it takes all of them to make a family. So in saying that, I just wanted to welcome you, and we're gonna turn it to Mr. Davis to have our pledge of allegiance and moments of silence.
Please stand. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please stand for a moment of silence.
Thank you. This time, can we get a motion to approve the agenda?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison Williams to approve the agenda as presented, second by Mr. Davis. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. At this time, do we have any public comment? Mr. Davis?
Yes, we do, Mr. Miller.
Okay.
We have Ms. Gates of District 3. She would like to talk to us tonight about Fairfield Diamond Elite Annual Dance Competition at Fairfield Central High School.
This is Mrs. Gates. How you doing? Good. Go right.
Hey,
Go
Ms.
right ahead.
Gates.
Like 5 minutes.
Dance elite team, and I came here today with some of the team and some of the parents. Every year we host a annual dance competition. It's HBCU style, and we use the high school. Recently we discovered that we may have to find a different venue this year because we basically work with cash. We already have the event set for May 5th. We already have teams coming in, judges, concessions, everything basically already set up and prepared for May 5th. So we're asking that this year we continue as normal, and then next year, whatever guidelines are in place, those will communicate with us so we can make sure we have everything together in place so we can meet those protocols. You know, the dance team is not just a dance team. It teaches these structure, it teaches them discipline. You can even see changes in behavior when they join the dance team in the classroom and at home. So it's not just girls dancing. They provide other things as well. So as a parent, I'm coming to ask you for this favor or this negotiation, however you may want to call it, that as policy holders and you guys make policies, we teach our girls to embrace change. And this is a change for the dance team. But as you guys make these policies, we ask for grace. Give us grace to get everything together to follow your policy. And that'll show the girls that even people in high places have grace for people that they're making policies for.
Good job.
Thank y'all for y'all time.
Good job.
Thank you. We have any more?
No, sir.
We will begin with administration. They would handle that. Board minutes, February 11th board meeting approved.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from the February 11th regular call board meeting.
Second such motion.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison Williams, second by Dr. Harris, accept the minutes from our February 11th, 2025 board meeting. All in favor show by the raising of the right hand. That would be 7-0. Right. At this time, we will have our superintendent report.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Hemingway.
Thank you, Chairman Miller. Good evening, everyone, and everyone out watching virtually. Spring sports have kicked off at Fairfield Central High School. We have baseball, track, soccer, and softball. Track has claimed honors. We have Jaden Boy and Ty Greer, who are breaking school and state records. Since our last board meeting, Fairfield Central's men varsity basketball is the 2024-25 Region 3 AA champion. Huge congratulations to Caleb Feaster, Rashawn Brown, and Thomas Johnson for earning all Region 3 AA, and Coach Tyrell Manning for being named the Region 3 AA Coach of the Year.
Awesome.
All right, and so also our virtual academy is accepting applications for the 24-26 academic year. Additionally, our child development registration is open now until April 1st. Our Griffin Greenhouse and Garden Spring Plant Sale is open Monday through Friday, 12:30 to 3:15. And so also we want to say kudos to the Future Business Leaders of America. That's our FBLA chapter from Fairfield Central Technical Center, who attended the annual State Leadership Conference in Greenville. We also have a business partner breakfast that the district office will be hosting on April 3rd for our business leaders, and we look forward to that to share some of the good news that's happening in our district.
Let me ask you this right here, Doc. So are we that the business leaders, do we invite the clergy also?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Very good. Go ahead,
All
sir.
right, that's all I have.
That's all you got, Doc?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Doctor. At this time, we have our finance report. Mr. Robinson.
Good evening, Board Chair, Board of Trustees,
Good evening.
Dr. Hemingway. The first item this evening under finance is the timeline for the budget hearings for the fiscal year 25-26 budget. And as usual, we'd have proposed 3 readings, and those readings will occur during our regularly scheduled budget meetings, board meetings. And so the first reading would be April 8th, the second one on the 20th. We'd have a public hearing scheduled for May 27th, and then the final reading scheduled for June the 10th. So that is presented for your information.
So, Chair?
We don't have to make a motion, do we?
No, just
All right,
presented
let's
for
go to the next
information.
one, yes, sir.
Okay.
Excuse me, could I ask, the public hearing, there'll be advertisement for the public to be
Absolutely.
notified?
Okay.
Okay, all right. And the second item under finance is and I have it titled March, but actually the February 2025 finance report. And this report, we had to make sure that we had some things straightened out with the local tax revenue. So that's not included in this report. However, I've received an update after the publication of this. And so we are on track. Everything looks good with our local tax revenue for the year. And we should end up right about where we expected with the budget, if not just a little bit over. So even though that's not included, just wanted to give you that update that we are good. And that is by far the most significant item that we have in the finance report. Other than that, the expenditures are on par where they should be. And so the report is submitted for your information.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Robinson? Dr. Avery, curriculum and student service, excuse me, curriculum and instruction.
Good evening, Board Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Hemingway. For your approval this evening are a couple overnight out-of-state field trips. First is a overnight field trip request that we are requesting to be retroactively approved, and it is from the Fairfield Career and Technology Center, and they participated in the Battle of the Schools competition in Conway, South Carolina on March the 7th. So we're requesting that that field trip be approved retroactively. Secondly, we have students from Fairfield Middle School who will be participating in the Global Amazing Shake competition held in Atlanta, Georgia, and that's going to take place on March 28th through March 30th. And lastly, the elite ladies, along with the distinguished gents, will be participating or requesting your approval to participate on their annual end-of-the-year field study. The elite ladies will be traveling to Orlando, Florida, and the distinguished gents will be traveling to Atlanta, Georgia. And these trips are submitted for your approval.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Yes.
I notice that periodically we are asked to approve stuff retroactively. My concern is how far in advance do the organizations know about these events prior to going and then coming back and asking us for approval? So I have somewhat of an issue with that.
Doc, excuse me for a minute. Let's get the motion on.
Yes, sir.
And then someone give it, motion, please.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to accept the superintendent recommendation to approve the overnight out-of-state field trip with Crest as submitted, retroacting the Fairfield Career and Technology Center, and that's the only one retroactive, right?
Yes. Second. Motion made by Ms. Harris Williams, second by Mr. Davis to accept the retroactive trip. All in favor? No? Question, sorry.
Okay. So again, my question is, how far in advance do they know that these events are going to happen? And is there enough time for it to be approved prior to the event than having to come back after the fact and then give it approval?
In a perfect world, it would be my expectation that you all have the opportunity to approve trips, overnight out-of-state trips before the actual start or the actual trip itself. But I will tell you that oftentimes our schools, along with specific auxiliaries, will get an invitation that doesn't necessarily align with our board approval. The good news is that our Fairfield Career and Technology Center has been getting a lot of publicity. That's the good news. And with that in mind, they're getting invitations to come to different events. So because of that, that is why you are now receiving this as a retroactive approval. We don't want to deny our students the opportunity to participate in these events that they've been invited to and to showcase their skills, and feel confident that when I do get a request, I typically vet the director or the principal pretty closely to ensure that all of the procedures and such have been put in place to make sure that the board doesn't have to worry about any liabilities.
Very well.
Mr. Siegel?
I have a question about the liability issue. What would happen if a trip were not approved and, let's say, worst case scenario, something bad happened on the trip, but it hadn't been approved prior to the trip?
Well, the good news is we have liability insurance. Okay, so in the event that something does happen, our district, of course, like we always do, whether it's approved or not approved, we will be able to go ahead and make sure our students are safe. We have not, blissfully, hadn't had any incidents or accidents to occur But again, the goal is that we want to make sure that our students remain safe, that I do my due diligence along with the other members of the cabinet to ensure that any trips that do take place, we want to make sure that our students are safe.
And if I can add to what Dr. Avery is saying, one of the things that we've done as a cabinet is we've looked at going ahead and creating our calendar for next year. Dr. Avery and her team created the academic calendar, and then our cabinet met to look at all of the activities throughout next year based on the school calendar that we want to include in our district for next year. And so the next step to that is meeting with all of our schools and having them to go ahead and start planning for next year before we leave this year. So any of those things that we anticipate to happen are already in motion. Dr. Campbell has been very proactive about trying to build a framework or a system where if there are trips that we know are coming up, that before we even start making deposits or making plans to go on those, that it is board approved before the students are taking those trips, and as well making sure we secure permission forms and all of those things that we have to do in order to keep us in compliance, so that if in the event there is an incident, we're not in a situation where that could be a case for the district.
Go ahead.
It's not about this trip, but for the, say, we didn't do the National Beta Club last year. Are we doing it this year? Did some kids make the nationals?
So that local Beta Club trip was canceled, correct? And so Giger Elementary is partnering with other schools in the district to host a Fairfield kind of beta display where the students who were supposed to go to that state beta convention, they can showcase their materials and the things that they have here in our district for parents and the community to enjoy.
So it's canceled for this, for
The national, yes, yes. The national is still in Atlanta.
And some of the schools participated due to the weather. They participated in the Beta Club competition, state competition or convention at the state level. And of course, if those students placed, then they will get an opportunity to move forward to the national. I will tell you, in the past, as you all are aware, some of our schools elect to not move forward and go to the national convention. They may elect to celebrate those students locally by going on another, field experience or something of that nature.
Yes, sir. Dr. Hemingway, will you answer that? Because I know that if it's something in prior, sometimes it comes up.
Yes, so I think what we have to, I think the first thing is to make sure that we're following the process and the procedures that are in place for securing and attending field trips. And I think the second thing is we would probably need to look at the policy, Dr. Campbell, and just kind of figure out where is there room in an administrative rule that if one of these field trips occur or we're notified of that and we don't have time for the board meeting, maybe we can call an emergency board meeting or a special call meeting to see how we can get the board together to approve those field trips. So that I think moving forward, the goal is to make sure that any field experience that our students attend, it has been board approved.
Well, that, I don't know if that's it's likely, but if the administration can contact me, and then we can put the word out. I know, I can talk to board members of whether they're in favor or not. And so, and then we don't wanna, you know, we don't wanna go anywhere where the board don't know. This right here, I didn't know.
So, so what I'm hearing is that if there is a field trip that takes overnight out-of-state field trip that takes place after the board meeting, like if we get one tomorrow, then you will like to be notified. Whereas I can get the field trip form, I will notify Dr. Hemingway that we have a field trip that will need retroactive approval. Can we go ahead and get tentative approval? And then he will communicate that to the board chairperson.
Yes.
Is that what I'm
And the
hearing?
chair will contact the board.
Yeah, that's what, I mean, you have to remember that, when the board's not in session, the chair is supposed to have one. And, the chair would, contact us by phone or something, and you know how to do that, you know how to get that with all of us and get a consensus.
Probably just for FOIA purposes, if you're gonna do something like that, you probably need to do it where some sort of virtual meeting where you see each other or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we need to.
I'm saying some way, I'm just throwing it out there.
Well,
Feasibility sake.
y'all heard the attorney. He's here for a reason. You're here for a reason.
Don't be quiet.
And so,
It's all right. Speak of that.
you know, if we're gonna do that, then we probably would need a virtual meet or meet in person. Doc, that idea is I'm gonna follow his. I'm
Right.
following the attorney. Keep us out of trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's, so we need to vote, right?
Right.
Superintendent recommends that the board approve the overnight state field trip requested and submitted.
Retroactive.
Right. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. That would be, all right, Dr. Avery?
All right, the second item under curriculum and instruction is the approval of the locally designed elective courses for local board approval, LBA, for Macquarie Liston School of Technology, Fairfield Middle School, Fairfield Central High School, and Gordon Odyssey Academy, and the approval of LBA transfer courses for Fairfield Central High School. As you all are aware, each year, the board collectively approves the locally designed elective courses for each year, whether it's this year, which is the 2025-2026 school year, and you will be approving tonight the LBA transfer courses for both the 2024-2025 and 2025-2026 school year. The one difference this year is that you all are going to be approving, in addition to the other LBA elective courses, you all are going to be approving the LBA transfer courses for students who transfer in. We've had a lot of students, international students, who are now transferring in, and they have courses that we don't necessarily have here in the state of South Carolina, so therefore we had to create instructional activity codes to make sure that those students that were coming from another country, we can make sure that they receive credit on their transcripts for the courses. But these courses are for your approval.
Can we get a motion, please?
Sir Chair, I make a motion that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for the approval of the local design elective courses for 2025-2026 school year, as well as the LBA transfer courses for both the 2024-2025 and the 2025-2026 school year.
Motion made by Ms. Green, second by Mr. David to accept the superintendent's recommendation, board approval of the local assigned elective courses for the 25-2026 school year, as well as the LBA transfer courses for both the 24-25 and the 25-26 school year. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. Huh? You have a question, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Regarding those transfer courses
Yes,
that
sir.
you're talking about, are they already completed courses? Are we talking about kids that transferred while the course is still going on?
These are courses that are taking place now for this current academic year. And then, of course, those same courses then have to be approved for the 25-26 school year as well.
No, but that, I'm not sure that you get my point. My point is, what are we talking about approving? Are we talking about approving courses that are already complete? Now, if it's a course that we don't have, and we gotta find some way to give them credit for it, how are we gonna do that if the course isn't complete?
The courses will be complete either at the end of a semester or at the end of this academic year. To the students, some students, depending upon whether or not the course is a semester course or if it's a 9 weeks course, you all are going to be approving those for the 24-25 school year and for the 25-26 school year. If you look in board docs on the document itself on page 9, the names of the actual courses are listed, so you have an idea of what those courses are.
Okay. The superintendent recommends the board approve the locally designed elective courses for the 25-26 school year, as well as the excuse me, let me put this glass on. LBA transfer courses for both the 24-25 and the 25-26 school year. All in favor show by the raising of the right hand. Thank you.
Thank you.
This time we'll have operation and student services.
Good evening, Board Chair Miller, other board members, and Dr. Hemingway. Good evening. Tonight, I bring before you first a set of policies that were presented last month for first read. There were no noted edits to these by either board members or staff members. So our first motion for tonight is to approve the second and final reading of policy JEB, JFAA, JFAB, JIH, and JIHC.
Can we get a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I make a motion, we accept the superintendent recommendation to approve the second and final reading policy revision, JEB and, JFAA, JFAB, JIH, and JIHC, and JIHCE. That it? Administrative rule, JEBR? JIHR, okay.
JIHR, Can we get a second?
Second it.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison Williams, second by Mrs. Green. The superintendent recommends the board approve the second and final reading of the following policies: administrative rule and file policy JEB, administrative rule JEB-R, interest aid policy JFAA, admission to resident students policy JFAB, non-resident students policy JIH, administration rule JIH-R, student interrogation, searches, and arrests file JIH-E, student interrogation, search, and arrest policy JIHC, and administration rule JIHC-R, use of metal detectors, and file JIHC-E, letters of parents, legal guardians, students, and all, students about metal detective uses in district schools. All in favor? Show by the raising of the right hand. Thank you.
Okay, second, We have a motion to rescind policy JFC, which is student withdrawals from schools and dropouts. And again, if we're rescinding policies, that typically means that there is another policy where that information is covered, or that information is obsolete and no longer need that policy. So the recommendation is to approve the second and final read to rescind policy JFC.
Can we get a motion? Yes. Right. Superintendent recommends the board approve the second and final reading to rescind the following policy, policy JFC. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All in favor show by the raising of the right hand. Thank you.
Okay, and along with that set of policies, I just want again to note for the minutes that we did provide policy JIE, JIF, and JIG with no edits. But when we send them to the School Boards Association, we want them to note that we reviewed this policy in March of 2025. So when individuals in the district and out of the district look to see when that policy was last reviewed, they will see it was reviewed in 2025 instead of the last date of maybe 2007, because that makes it look like we have not updated that policy in 20 years. So your second set of policies you have tonight is a set of policies, JC, which is school attendance area, JCDA, and it's accompanying rule and exhibit, and that is random drug and alcohol testing of students participating in extracurricular activities. Policy JJ, student activities. Policy JJA, student organizations. Policy JJAB, limited and open closed forum. Policy JJE, student fundraising activities and the accompanying rule for that. Policy JJF, student activities funds. Policy JJG, contests for students. Policy JJI, student athletes, and policy JK, student discipline.
Ask for discussion on JJ.
That's, can we get a motion? Just we get a motion before we
Mr. Chair,
yes.
I make a motion, we accept the superintendent recommendation to approve the first reading revision to following policy, policy JC, policy JCDAE, JCDAER, JCDAE, policy J student activities, policy JJA, JJAB, JJE, AR, JJER, JJF, JJG, JJI, JK.
That's second.
Okay. Got questions, because we want to talk about which policy that's.
Dr. Campbell, can we have some discussion on policy JJE's, student fundraising activities? Can you just clarify what this policy is stating for student fundraisers?
It outlines our board policy on the parameters of students raising funds in the name of any school, school group, or school organization. And those fundraisers have to be approved by administration. It starts with the school administration.
Okay. So, so what the policy is saying is that if we would like for students to raise funds for clubs, activities, then the school administrator needs to approve that fundraiser for them to do that. So it doesn't prohibit them from
It does not.
collecting funds.
It does not prohibit them from collecting funds. It just outlines the process in order to do it the appropriate way.
Right.
And, go ahead. No, you go.
And so all the money has to be turned in to the bookkeeper of each school, right?
It does. And so this policy is, it also has what I will call an accompanying policy. We talk about students' rights to raise funds and what that looks like, but we also have finance and procurement policies, which outlines how we collect funds, receipt funds, and deposit those funds. We have funds that give bookkeepers and teachers limits on how long they can keep funds in their classrooms or on their person. Those funds should be deposited or turned into a bookkeeper every day, and the bookkeeper has 24 hours to deposit those funds following the procurement process.
Okay, now a question on, we had a fundraiser, okay, and we have, we're selling fruit. Okay, and, you know, as we know, everything ain't, we call, what do you call it? Cash App and, Zelle and all that. So what I'm saying is that, is it some set up on each school where the bookkeeper, it comes to the bookkeeper? Say if I wanted to buy something from one of the students and I had cash money. So who do I turn that money to make sure it's legit?
So if I, as a student, were to sell you a box of fruit and I gave you cash, the next day I am to turn that cash in to my teacher or the sponsor of that group. That teacher is to write me a receipt and then take that receipt book and those funds and turn it into the bookkeeper. Okay. And then the bookkeeper.
At the local school?
At the school level, yes, sir.
Okay. So, you know, it's a way, because I know we move cash around, so we can accept cash, but it has to go to the bookkeeper.
We have to accept cash, but we also have to receipt that cash.
Well,
then it goes to the bookkeeper.
Okay, so any cash that we give to the bookkeeper, we have to have a receipt.
Yes.
Or anything that
we have
comes
to
in.
issue a receipt.
Huh?
We have to issue a receipt. So when students bring in money, that teacher should write a receipt for that money. When the teacher turns in all that money to the bookkeeper notates how much money said teacher has turned into them that day. And then the bookkeeper, following procurement process, deposits that money, and then they can tell which account the money should be accredited to. Okay. And at this point in time, we do not have a means to take any electronic form of payments. I'm not aware of. Except at the high school? Okay. Square for athletics. Because you just mentioned Cash App and Zelle, and I didn't want any misunderstanding. We do not accept Cash App and Zelle.
Okay. So how do the bookkeeper, how do we kind of rectify it getting to the, because I heard, I guess we did some things in a different way, but what I'm saying is, as long as it's coming to the bookkeeper of that school, and then, that eliminates the cash thing.
We have never stopped accepting cash.
Huh?
We accept cash.
Okay. I want to make sure we're clear on that.
Yes, sir.
And Dr. Campbell, do we have in our policy anywhere where schools can have petty cash on hand? And Kevin, this may be a question for you, if schools are allowed to keep a certain amount of cash on hand.
Not on hand. Not on hand. Now, we've told them in the past, if they have like $50, $100, something nominal, it doesn't have to be deposited that day, but they need to deposit the next day. But we don't want any school to just have cash on hand because there's no need to, because we don't pay anybody in cash. So once they get the cash and bring it in, it needs to go to the bank to be deposited. So we don't have a petty cash procedure where they have any on hand. Thank you. Yeah.
So I just want to make sure I get some clarity here. Hypothetically, I'm just doing hypothetically.
Yes, sir.
You having an event.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you know that you're going to have X amount of money. You're saying that that's not permissible to, as long as the bookkeeper gives it out and has a receipt. That's where I'm getting to.
So if the
Mr.
question is,
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm clear, so can you restate that? I was
saying
listening to
that-
you, but I want to make sure I understand
Yeah.
the question.
It said that, sometimes that they have things at the high school, okay? And they want to pay in cash, okay? So if the bookkeeper is giving out the cash money, and with a receipt. I'm just asking, is that permissible by your standard?
No, we receive cash because obviously people want to pay for things, athletic events. Not everybody has a card. So someone pays us in cash, we have a means to receive it. And as Dr. Campbell stated, typically if it's a fundraiser, a student, someone, our parents, someone's paying in cash, they see the bookkeeper or it goes to the teacher, receipt is written, so we have a record of what's received in cash. That's then sent to the bookkeeper who compiles it, is deposited, writes a deposit slip, the cash goes into the bank and we record it. So we can receive cash, but we don't have a bookkeeper who just has cash who then pays anything out in cash, because then we don't have a record of what's going out. So, you know, it's natural to receive cash because you don't want to tell anyone, well, we don't want to receive your payment because we don't take cash. And actually, I know a while back when during COVID, a lot of schools went to cashless methods for athletics. And after a while, I think the legislature frowned upon that and said, no, you're required to still take cash. So we still have to take it. We just have to have procedures for it, which we do. But we don't pay out in cash. And so that even if it's one of our employees, like a bookkeeper who may have received it, we don't have any procedures, anything that would allow them then to pay anyone else out in cash.
I heard that.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
anybody who receive any funds from a school, they have to be a vendor. Even if I did something for the school, I would have to fill out the vendor's form. And I don't have any expectations of cash. I know that all the money is coming through proper channels. And we don't pay anything to anybody in cash. I don't think we've ever done that, to pay anybody anything in cash. Because in order to receive a payment, I have to be a vendor. And if I'm a vendor, I've already filled out the form, and I know what the expectations are for me to get paid. I know nobody gonna hand me $100 at the end of the day or $1,000 at the end of the day. I know I'm gonna have to wait, and I know I have to be a vendor in order to receive payment. I don't think any school anywhere pays anybody in cash money. I don't think they do.
Anybody got any more questions on that? Okay. All right. Let's move ahead. Okay. Now, we have made a motion. The motion been second, right?
Yes.
Let me make sure I'm. Right.
You're on motion 3.
No, I can't see. Our third motion is the superintendent recommends the board approve the first reading revision for the following policies. Policy JC, policy JCDAE, AR, JCDAE-R, file JCDAE-E, policy JJ student activities, policy JJA, policy JJAB, policy JJE, ARJJE-R, policy JJF, policy JJG, policy JJI, policy JK. Excuse me. So those are the policies. All in favor show by the raising of the hand. They almost gave out of breath, Ms. Green. Let's move to our fourth and final.
Okay, and the last one, Mr. Chair, is that we're recommending to rescind 3 policies, and that is policy JHBA, attendance officer, policy JJIC, eligibility minimum standards for participation, and policy JKA, corporal punishment.
All right, can we get a motion? Motion made by Mr. Davis, second by Dr. Harris. Accept the superintendent recommendation to the board approve the first reading and rescind the following policy, board policy, policy JHBA, attendance officers, policy JIC, eligibility and minimum standards for participation, and policy JKA, corporal punishment. We have anybody got any questions on that? All in favor, show by the raising of their hand. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
All right, next we have HR.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Under HR this evening, we have the following items for your approval. Item 1, certified administrative recommendations. The recommended action, the superintendent recommends that the board approve the professional certified administrators as outlined in Exhibit 1 for the 2025-26 academic year.
Sir Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the recommendation to approve the professional certified administrator as outlined in Exhibit 1 for the 2025-2026 academic school year.
Motion made, Superintendent, motion made by Ms. Green, second by Mr. Davis. Superintendent recommends that the board approve the professional certified administrators outlining Exhibit 1 for the 25-26 academic year. All in favor, show by the raising of the hand.
One. We're supposed to split that.
Certified recommendation number 2.
We were,
The vote, only 6 hands went up.
weren't we supposed to split that?
Only 6 hands.
He made the motion. He made the
So
motion to
you took,
accept.
you called for the vote, 6 hands went up, you asked for all in favor. Board members voted yes, but you didn't request.
That it be split it.
Oh, same.
Yeah, it was supposed to be split.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. All right.
Okay.
Next.
Next, we have item 2.
Man.
Certified recommendations. The superintendent recommends that the board approve the professional certified educators as outlined in Exhibit 2 for the 2025-26 academic year.
Motion, please.
Yeah, I messed that one up. I'm sorry about that. Would you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Yes. The superintendent recommends that the board approve the professional certified educators as outlined in Exhibit 2 for the 2025-26 academic year.
I messed up the first one. Sir Chair,
Yes.
I make a motion that we accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve the professional certified educators as outlined in Exhibit 2 for the 2025-26 academic year.
Motion made by Ms. Green, second by Pastor Jackson to accept the superintendent recommends that the board approve the professional certified educators and outline in Exhibit 2 for the 25-26 academic school year. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. Seven up.
Lastly, it's item 3, classified recommendations. The superintendent recommends that the board approve the classified staff as outlined in Exhibit 3 for the 2024-25 academic year.
Right. Can we get a motion?
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to accept superintendent's recommendation for the classified staff outlined in Exhibit 3, 2024-25 academic year.
I
Sir.
second. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Motion made by Mr. Davis, second by Ms. Green to accept the superintendent recommends the board approve the classified staff as outlined Exhibit 3 for the 24-25 academic school year. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to give an update on things that's happening around the school. We just it's good to have a chance to NAACP award. I've seen Mrs. Dr. Campbell and others, Ms. Harrison, myself, Ms. Green was there to, and it was a good event, and so we got a lot of good things going on in this district. As you say, Doctor, baseball, we got Coach of the Year in the region. Tyrell, basketball, men coach, is that 2A? Did a great job. So I'm really happy with him. All right, Fairfield County, South Carolina can now get a barbering license in high school. How about that? And I think Dr. Hemingway talked about this in our intergovernment meeting. The new bill has been passed, allowing the high school barbering students across the South Carolina to apply for their license before graduating. Now, for us that didn't know, this was not allowed, okay? And Dr. Hemingway, as well as Dr. Powell and Mr. Knight went down to talk to the board. This has never happened before, and they was able to convince them. And there now, our students can get a barbering license while they're in high school. Isn't that wonderful? And you know what they charge for barbering? You know, I don't worry about it. You know, me and Kevin, we ain't got no problem. We ain't got no problem, y'all. But man, we got no problem. We ain't got to worry about no haircut. But you know, that's a good thing, you know. And also, Fairfield Career Technology will attend the annual State Leadership Conference in Greenville, which they do every year. Ms. Nazer Butler, our instructional technology coach, was selected by the South Carolina ASCD for emergencies leader classes for the 24-25 school year. And the South Carolina Emerging Leaders Program is comprised of educators desired to become more involved in the state education community. So those are great things that's happening with our children and as well as our teachers. So I just wanted to share that. Anybody else have any things, Ms. Harris?
Just February last month, I had my annual scholarship, which this is my 15th year, and once again, it was a success. I want to really thank Ms. Green for stepping up and taking all the wonderful pictures that was shared, and thank Dr. Hemingway and Chairman Miller for supporting it. And also, I want to thank the students that came out to help serve, and I tell them every year, y'all can leave when you finish serving, but I think they have more fun than the adults have, so I let them stay.
Dancing all over the place,
Yeah, they were. So it was just a joyous event, and I appreciate all the support. And also, I had, a couple of weeks ago, I had my directors meeting with the state. They wanted us to give feedback on the Myrtle Beach trip. I know some people had issues with hotels and different things, and I think we have a 3-year contract, so I think we're gonna be going back to Myrtle Beach. But also, if you receive a badge at the beginning of the conference, that name badge is for you to wear the entire time. They don't know board members like that, so if it requires you to go an event, you have to wear your name badge. That was one of the things that was talked about. I know Ms. Green misplaced hers, and they immediately gave her another one. So just be mindful when you go into events and they give you a name badge for a reason. It's that because they don't know you, and they don't want anybody just coming in the events because, you know, we paid for this event and they don't want anybody to just pop up. But the meeting itself was good. We covered a lot of stuff. So anytime you have issues with any of the hotels or something that's going on at the conference, please share it so I can share it at the next meeting. And on yesterday, I had lunch at Giger. It was St. Patrick's Day, and we had green punch, and I wore my green shirt, so I won't get pinched. But it was, I mean, I just enjoy being around them, feeding them, and just enjoying talking to the staff. So that's just something I do every year, and I just enjoy being with them.
Great. Right, anybody else? Anybody else?
Well, I'd like to say as well with the NAACP banquet that we appreciate the support that you all gave us. And it was a very successful program. And I think that our guest speaker, Mr. Seawright, was very informative with his information. And we just have to remember not to stay on the wall. Thank you.
At this time, we get a motion to go into executive session
Mr. Chair, I make a motion, we go into executive session
for.
A second.
for
Superintendent
superintendent evaluation.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison Williams, second by Ms. Green. All in favor, show by raising the right hand. On executive session. When we come out of executive session, we're going to be closing the meeting. So, you know, you can stay, but it's probably maybe a while. All right, thank you.
I know that's right.
Come on, Mr. Robinson.
She don't want to be on camera.
Go back here. Come in. Let me talk to these folks first.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave you alone, sister. Just come leave me alone. kidding. Well, let me ask him.
Yeah, we're asking.
Yes.
Jalen, are you staying?
Shall we meet? It's okay. Shall we meet? That's what our song said.
Tell them to come on so we can adjourn.
Joe ain't got enough. He got to talk. But tell Joe, he can call Dr. Henry. Yep.
It will happen.
Yeah. This time we need a motion to exit executive session, no actions taken.
Mr. Chair, I
Yes,
make a
ma'am.
motion, we exit executive session, no actions taken.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison Williams, second by Mr. Davis. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. All right, we got a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
in follow-up to the board's interim evaluation discussion with Dr. Hemingway, I move that you send Dr. Hemingway a letter summarizing the board's feedback for the consideration.
Thank you.
Second says motion.
Thank you. The motion was made by Ms. Harrison Williams, second by Dr. Harris. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. Thank you. Meeting adjourned. It's a long one.
You gotta do a motion for adjournment.
Well, I'm ready to go. You know I'm ready to go, right? Somebody make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Pastor Jackson to adjourn, second by Dr. Harris. All in favor of this meeting being adjourned, show by the raising of the right hand. Thank you.
Joe, you walk fast enough, you walk into my car.
You want me to walk you to your car?
No, because I had to ask you.
I gotta make sure we know how to shut that door.
All right.
Kevin, you go. Oh, man.
Javonda, do you know how to, you did? All right, perfect.
Okay. All right.
All right, good people, let have the Lord bless you. See
All right,
you in
Doc.
Atlanta.
Doc.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you, Doc.
All right.
All right, buddy. You be good, man.
Yes, sir.
I told I would let you know. All right, Bernie, you be safe by the phone. Good night.
Huh?
Hey, man, we appreciate you. And, I'm gonna try to stir stuff up.
Probably is. That's your husband. He's supposed to blow your phone. Supposed to blow your phone up. Right. All right, Miss Brown. Good night to you, sweetie. Love you. You good.